TikTok's back. How long did that?
Yeah, it was about 2 hours.
What? What was the point?
Well,
So it was completely removed off all app stores and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah, because Americans are terrified that China are going to be stealing their data. I mean,
mate, they've been a bit late now. They've already stolen their data.
That's what I'm saying. Like they can't have foreign nationals steal their data because they aren't done themselves stealing everybody's data. But you know what's fucking hilarious? The moment
how
TikTok,
red JJ
the moment
is.
The moment it is, yeah. The moment
I'll fix that in post.
The moment that TikTok was going to be banned, an alternative suddenly came to the surface called Red Note, and it ended up #1 on the App Store. Not only is it also Chinese made, but it's literally called fucking Red Note.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the fucking
you can't
irony.
ban them all, can you?
Well, no, the fucking irony of it all is they all scream communist and socialism towards the idea of free social healthcare to the entire country, but they'll be fucking damned if TikTok gets banned.
What happens when it comes to it? In the thing. Oh, maybe they did. So in the back there isn't a light brown jacket. Cool story. We're not the first. We definitely won't be the last. We'd like to welcome you. Not another conspiracy cast.
Fucking disinformation artists from the government in general that are making a shit ton of money off of TikTok, and that was part of their contract. You say really good stuffs about the left, or you say really good stuff about the right. Don't worry, we won't. What we'll do, we'll pay you some money, but you get to keep all of the TikTok revenue. So when that fucking got banned, they were probably like, I'm not going to be able to do this propaganda shit for you anymore. That's when they were like, oh crap, we actually need all of these people to try and win back democracy. I don't know. It's all bollocks. It's all a load of bollocks, as Richie.
It's all a load of bollocks, isn't it? Really. Yeah. So I mean, wait for JJ to get back. He's just popped out somewhere. Don't know where.
Pop down the shop.
Put some foundation on to cover up his red face. He's got.
I'd love it if he came back with a fucking blonde wig and went China.
He wouldn't.
It was China. Do it.
Too left field for him. He'd just come back with some kind of tobacco-based product.
Yeah.
Or booze.
Lou, come and sit down. Sorry, Rachel's away for the week.
Oh, he's pulled. There he is, red face.
If you keep that in shot, it will take away from the fact of how red your own face is. That's the idea.
It's balance. Give it a cuddle. Make it feel better.
Right, hold on.
Right. So we're back again. Two podcasts in 2 weeks. That is it's not a new record, but it is
pretty impressive.
Positive is what it is.
It's a positive one. Yeah.
The Globe's most listened to, not another conspiracy podcast. So most listened to podcast across the globe.
Oh, we are.
Don't check it. Don't check those facts.
Just believe us.
Just believe us. We are the most listened to podcast across the globe.
Don't listen to anyone else.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Not Another Conspiracy Podcast. In Detroit, we have Dean Salter.
Hello, everybody.
And in Yerk, we have Lemmy Redface Jackson.
That's the best bottom-themed nickname you could come out with.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, yeah. We always forget this bit, though. Ben, all the way in Southend. Ben from Southend.
I'm Southend. We are back because there's more alien shit happened. More alien shit.
Stuff. More stuff.
Yeah.
It's
non-human intelligence. Non-human intelligences.
Intelligence. It's my best.
And when you say mind, do you mean the mind in your head? JJ, you haven't watched the video. Right?
have no idea what you're talking
We're
about.
literally this guy. Right, we're going to talk about Jacob Barber, but he just did an expose on News Nation. Is it
News
in
Nation,
Australia? News Nation Australia. Every time he said something, he go, "Oh, do you mean this?" And this Australian guy.
When you say non-human intelligence, are you saying alien? Well, that's kind of that word.
Yeah.
That's what it means. When you say
I've spoken to another guy who's heard of this psionics. Psionics. It's so annoying.
Jokes aside, though, I'm going to go into never jokes aside. But let's
jokes through the middle.
but I'm just making this apparent from the very beginning that I believe this is the beginning of it all going fucking wild.
Oh, disclosure.
Yes, I truly believe it is.
Is it?
No,
Gorlak.
this isn't.
Come on, Gorlak.
This is, or is it Lam? Lam.
Here I am. I'm Gorlak. A little smooth.
I'm just going to shut up. You're not on your ADHD medication, are you?
Canadian aliens.
Why have you both got white ones? What the fuck? Where's my one? Fucking racists. I'm the only one with a black one.
Oh, AirPods, mate.
Sorry, but as I was saying, I believe this is the beginning of when everything starts getting weird.
Yeah?
I'm coming out with that straight away because it's going to get to a point. It's going to get to a point where nobody can explain what they want that would convince them if they're not convinced. It's just going to get stupid from now on. Like Terence McKenna said, it's going to get so weird, people are going to start talking about how weird it's getting. But there are some people that are just going to be like, no, I can't accept that. No, it's wrong. It's not real. Or it will get to a point where, no, it's just a hologram. It's Project Bluebeam. It will just become extreme denial.
It's all bullshit.
You don't. I know you don't. I know you don't. I know you don't believe it's all bullshit.
Right. So Jacob Barber. So for those of you who haven't watched the new News Nation video, the 40-minute expose on Jacob Barber, Dean, can you explain to us who Jacob Barber is, please?
Right. Jake Barber is... Go on then, sorry.
No, I was just going to go, I felt like something was inside me. It was my favourite quote from the whole thing.
So Jake Barber
something feminine.
This has all been very quick. We've like scrounged notes and watched the expose within the last hour or 2 hours or so. Jay hasn't, as unfortunately he's obviously got a newborn. He's just been busy and that. But this is the beauty of this this is the beauty of this podcast. We can go into these things with open minds, and it's always nice to have someone that is there completely without any sort of bias towards it. So Jake Barber is a recent first-hand witness to retrieval operations within the program. So he's an ex-airman in the US Air Force. He was an aerospace mechanic and engineer in the late 90s, considered an exceptional mechanic. He was recruited into the Air Force's elite combat control unit. He's a helicopter pilot, a free-fall parachutist, an expert marksman, and he was also granted a NATO top secret security clearance. Aside from those things, he is, it's not about claiming, he is also was part of a recovery team that were contracted by a private company working at a place called The Range, which I think a lot of us can probably assume that it is part of Area 51.
It's a testing range, isn't it?
Yes, because we've heard The Range as a word for that field or
firing
area.
Range, I think, is what it
alludes
to.
He is or was a private contractor, an independent contractor to private companies that he's unable to divulge those names, but who were also connected to the US government and the Department of Defense.
He was let go from the army to become a private private,
Yes.
whatever it is, tradesman.
Yes.
Little
So,
handyman with a helicopter.
so also a little bit to go into it as well. His story has been developing for the last 2 years. It's taken that long for Ross Coulthart from News Nation to confirm and corroborate stories to basically say that this guy he is what he's claiming he is.
He is. He says he is.
There are 3 special forces operatives that corroborate his story, and they were also team members of his that corroborate his can confirm his credentials and his claims. One of them is a former Green Beret Lieutenant Colonel John Blitch, who has held the Doomsday suitcase, which is pretty fucking special because there's only a handful of people, mind the pun, that can actually carry that suitcase. And he also has a doctorate in psychology and was a Delta Force sniper. What are you laughing at now?
Your little, mind the pun, handful.
I say things where I don't even expect people to fucking laugh at them. Anyway, Jake said that things started changing for him after 9/11. He was sent to California to begin establishing his cover bases as an independent contractor. Like Ben said, he was let go from the Air Force to do this thing.
Independent contractor.
Establishing his cover basis. What does that mean exactly? Does anybody know?
He has to get over there to become an independent. He has to go over and set up his own business.
Right. Okay. And that was
LLC.
And that was so he could serve what was coming down the line. I guess he was approached by people to sit there and say, "You're pretty."
They have to have plausible deniability, right? It can't be an actual military operation to go and retrieve these craft because it's all done under the guise of black ops kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So you have to have the cream of the crop involved.
Yeah, but he can't be under. He can't work for the US government because he's.
Of course. He can't be under any sort of like laws within the government. However, these private contractors are a subcontract from these certain departments within the government, and they kind of sit there and say to them, do what you want. There's no rules. So long as you get so long as you do A, B, C, and D, we don't care.
Mercenary, right? But more of a courier type.
And that led down...
They were given carte blanche to shoot the fuck out of people they wanted.
Yes, they were given 007
any means necessary.
To protect certain things. So that led to him being part of the program's recovery team at the range, which we said was an undisclosed facility, but it's clearly somewhere in and around Papoose Lake, Area 51 sort of thing. He claimed that most of the time when he was working there, 90% of the time, everything was conventional, or it was at least things that were visibly man-made aircraft. And also the recovery efforts were also nothing special. They were just typical classified secret projects, be those weapons or what was it? I just noted it down here as well. It was to a place where the range was a place where the government and its private partners would test weapon systems and their resilience to certain aircraft from classified to top secret. So using probably putting jets up in the sky, shooting them down, seeing if even though they went down, whether it was damaged and stuff like that. Basically combat and war-based sort of
But he said that it wasn't always testing if... He was testing if certain black ops weapons could shoot down the US F-16s and stuff. And vice versa.
It went from non-classified to classified to top secret to a point where he was saying that they were so exotic you could still what was it? This was what kind of sort of made it interesting for me, where he was saying that there were exotic things in the sky that were man-made. That he was absolutely, you're never going to hear about them, but they were so nuts, even though they were man-made, and that was pretty kind of interesting. Okay, so there are things that's what the SR-71 back in when that was being developed. That was people witnessing that fucking thing back then. So we're seeing he's witnessing shit that would blow our minds, to be perfectly honest. So that's where it got weird, because then he started saying that there were things that demonstrated what was it, OSAP and ATIP, basically Lou Elizondo and his team would call the 5 observables, which were instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic velocity, transmedium travel, anti-gravity, and low observability. And what was also interesting is that, and I'll read from my notes here, that things were coming in and out of sight, disappearing and reappearing. Things were moving quickly, changing color, changing shape, and that recovered things that were exotic in nature of the sky and that he knew were classified, in the sense of that what he was seeing was quite beyond what is understood or even public about the understanding of physics at this point, in my opinion.
But he was seeing it from a helicopter cockpit, so he wasn't like really,
Was he though?
And it was, he said he was only out. He's only on the retrievals,
but he was also saying that even before deployment, they would see things all the time around that area. It's not necessarily that he was. Well, yeah, because he was also saying that objects were witnessed coming from the ground, like from the Earth, a ridge or a mountain or a pass through. Now that's interesting because that also coincides with Bob Lazar's location of S4, that these things were coming out the sides of ridges and mountainsides, or sierras, I think they're called, or whatnot. So that to me was sounding okay. Like from here, I don't know, you're sounding quite legitimate, or the story is a little different but still believable. Or you could imagine at least a person in that position.
Yeah, but it just feels like, why is he coming forward? That's the like.
Right.
Why is he coming forward?
The reason
he's not like Grush, where Grush is like, I had to. It was my duty as an American to come forward. You must have missed that part in the News Nation segment, because it was claimed, whether or not this. So this, I've got a huge thing that I tweeted out that I'm also going to read on the podcast, because it's my take on everybody saying that no, this is a load of shit. Basically, I'll get to that. Though. So the reason he's coming forward, I believe, and well, we also know partially, is because he sent all of this to Arrow and the UAP task. Well, the UAP task force allegedly he's spoken to about it and they're aware of it. However, he sent all of this data and his claims to Arrow, and when following up to find out information on what this thing was, or these two objects that he discusses picking up, among other things that we will get to, that in my opinion are the most fascinating aspect of the story, the HVTs and the wooden crates, he wanted a follow-up. Is there any information on this? Have you found anything? Turns out everything was lost. Bit fucking sus, that. So things get lost.
The way I see
things
this,
just get lost.
Of course they do.
Sometimes things get lost. You're seeing a coincidence, and I'm just seeing like just an accident that was waiting to happen.
I am seeing lots of smoke, and the fire is slowly being shown.
I think you're seeing smoke and mirrors, mate. I don't think there's any fire whatsoever.
Okay. All right. Okay. But however, Arrow.
Have you not noticed that they all look the same? Graves, Grush, Barber, they all look like the same guy.
Have you noticed as well how most people in the EDL also look like the same guy?
Exactly. They all look like the blooming. Yeah. So is it alien?
So you're trying to use
observers.
You're trying to use typecasting as deniability, which that's just.
No, I would say that it's the same. It's all AI generated. Like they're not even real people. It's all AI. It's so good now. I was just playing around with Runway the other day, and I'm like, we can get away with this. We don't need people anymore. We just got this guy.
Right. But, however, the reason he's coming
forward... Get me a bald American now. We need to release some information.
Oh, God, Josh Willink, David Goggins, they're all the same.
They're all the same. Goggins.
Anyway.
Goggins is but he's a very, very light.
The reason he's coming forward, in my opinion, is if he's going down the correct and legal avenues of becoming a whistleblower. Rogan, yeah. You're fucking the story up, you cunt.
Sean Ryan.
Stop!
They all look the same.
Anyway, can I fucking finish?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's all shave our heads bald and do the next podcast. as in American accents, just go, aliens are everywhere. I've seen them.
Right.
Oh, I've heard someone tell me something about the people, about the aliens. God damn it.
The reason he's coming forward is if he can go down the legal avenues that the government put in place for him to legally be considered a whistleblower and be protected, while at the same time those avenues failing him by saying this information has just disappeared, to which he is absolutely in the correct position to call bullshit, and also there has to be a paper trail for it. Where else does he go? Where else would he go? The only place that he should really go, he will be going to Rogan, but he hasn't gone to Rogan or Ryan yet. He's gone to News Nation. The same people that helped Grush come forward, that then resulted in a congressional hearing, that then resulted in a second congressional hearing, that then resulted in Lou Elizondo coming forward. All of these other Immaculate Constellation being revealed. There is a certain pipeline where
I hate that name so much. Immaculate Constellation.
Right. But my point is this is the avenue that they have to legally go through. It's going through News Nation is because Grush went through News Nation, and the domino effect is happening with disclosure. If he went with something else, it wouldn't be taken seriously. The same reason he didn't go with Stephen Greer, because he wouldn't be taken seriously. The same reason
Stephen Greer's a fucking psychopath.
Precisely my point. Whatever.
Yeah.
But he's going down the correct avenues. The reason now he has come forward is because these legal and correct avenues are failing him. And the arrow is literally Project Blue Book 2.0. They know these things. They are in the position to be able to call bullshit. That's why they are coming forward through these safe people like Ross Coulthard. He vetted Grush for ages. He vetted Lou Elizondo for ages. He's now vetted this guy, Jake Barber, over 2 years before dropping the story. They are entrusting this person for keeping their promise as a news journalist and not fucking blowing their load. Oh, fucking hell, crash retrieval video. Fuck Robert, fuck his source and keeping my silence. Look at this. He's taking time with it. They're doing it properly. And that's it. There's no coincidence that, this is what I was saying at the start. It's going to get to a point where people don't know or can't explain what they want as proof, because it's going to become so fantastic that they're not just going to believe anything that's in front of them. We have a first-hand witness that Congress was asking for in the first fucking hearing. All the people that were sitting there saying, David Grush isn't a first-hand witness. No, he's fucking not. But he is a person that did his detective work to find these first-hand witnesses. He's saying they exist. All right, let's go a little bit further and find out. Lou Elizondo was part of a program, an operation that was also looking into this thing. I'm not a first-hand witness. I'm just going by evidence I've been provided. Oh, we need someone who's a first-hand witness. Bring in Jake Barber. Fucking gives you everything and the pissing kitchen sink to determine that his story has credibility. But instead, people only care about a fucking headline, a green video, and an X-shaped object, and they'll go, oh, it's a load of shit. They won't listen to anything else. Whereas the entire story... No, you can shut up for 5 fucking minutes, Ben. Let me talk. Sorry, I've got something to say. Go on then. Sorry.
He only saw crashed ones, really.
No, he said that he witnessed other things. I explained that. I have explained that. He said he saw objects using the doing the
using the force.
Shut the fuck up! Oh my god! I'm so glad I'm in America and not close to home with you. It'd be impossible to do this with in person.
I personally think he's he just seems like a bit of a fucking lunatic. Do you not think he's like...
Do you not think it would take a lunatic to be part of a job like that? Really?
Yeah, but he's like, all these pictures of him in like in his gi going like, fucking jiu-jitsu.
What do you mean? What?
He's just, You've not seen the picture when it shows it again?
No, I have seen those pictures, but what does that mean to disprove who he is?
Why would you put those pictures forward, though? Just put some.
What would you do? A picture of him at a fucking fancy dress party dressed as a Teletubby?
No. Him in his, like, military garb.
But he's in his military garb.
What is he? What military is he in? The Street Fighter Academy? He's dressed like Ryu.
You do realise that was him being drafted into... Let me quickly get it. It was him being drafted into the... I think it was, wasn't it? The Special Forces Elite Combat Control Unit. Right?
Wow.
Well, now you're just doing this on purpose to roll me up. I know you are. Because if they are given, plausible deniability and are also allowed to use lethal force, would you want a person that's in an elite combat unit for the Air Force or not? Or would you want Fat Dave from down the pub who can neck 12 Stellas and still have a hour while holding a kebab?
West Ham Dave. Yeah, you get West Ham Dave down there. You get West Ham Dave. You watch that. He got crossbowed. You not heard about West Ham Dave, though? He got crossbowed in the Lamb and Lion on Christmas Eve, 2022. No word of a lie.
Who?
West Ham Dave, crossbowed in the Lamb and Lion.
Why do I know the name West Ham Dave? I can't put a fucking face.
Because everyone knows a West Ham Dave. But yeah, sidebar. Christmas
Could you
Eve,
imagine
2020.
seriously Cockney fucking West Ham supporter in the fucking back of the helicopter? God, guys, can you ask something down there? Wow, watch that.
God, fucking kick it in the head. Kick it in the head.
I dip my soldiers in that. Get it?
Well, Jacob Barber felt like something was inside him.
That wasn't on that. Right. Now I'll wait till Jay gets... No, that's a different craft. That's nothing to do with the egg.
Nothing
to do with the egg. So... Let's get to... Well, we need Jay to be back because he hasn't even seen it yet, has he?
He hasn't even seen it, so it doesn't matter.
Is he going to watch it live on the podcast?
He's never going to watch it.
Why not?
Oh, we could do. Can I share a screen in here?
I'm sure you probably could share a screen. Or could he not?
He's making a bottle.
He's making a bottle right now, but we can get him to watch it on his phone on WhatsApp anyway.
Yeah.
So he recovered objects that were of exotic in nature and that he claimed were he says the UAP task force claimed they were non-human intelligence, but that's second-hand knowledge. That's not, you can't confirm that because he was like, well, I've asked people that are part of the UAP task force. They said what we recovered, that egg thing and the 8-gon thing that we'll get to also were non-human intelligence. You can't, that's what annoyed me about the News Nation segment, but you also kind of expect it. You can't say it's non-human intelligence. Don't get me wrong, it looks like something out of fucking Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. It looks like something that would fit in that kind of movie. But you can't say it's non-human intelligence, extraterrestrial or alien. In my opinion, it's not. It is not. That thing, in my opinion, both the 8-gon and the egg, I wouldn't mind betting is man-made.
I reckon it's all man-made.
From reversed engineered technology, though. From NHI or alien-based technology.
I reckon it was one of those egg chairs from Austin Powers, and it was just they just get it delivered, and they were like, let's go and get him to pick it up because he's got a helicopter and he'd be a lot quicker than me going in the van.
That's one of your jokes. That's one of your jokes you wrote down, isn't it?
It's not that one. It's not.
It's off the top of the head.
No, my main one was the when the Australian guy goes, and how did they call this aircraft? He went, they use psionics, they use their mind. He went, they use their mind, and it cuts. He goes, the mind is a part of your brain. He's just like, the mind is a part of your brain.
The mind is something that's part of the brain. The brain is in the human body, contained within a calcium.
Psionics.
This kind of segues on pretty well because you could continue to exaggerate that joke of a claim. The brain inside a calcium-filled skeleton, inside a meat suit known as a human being. Yeah. Is it not fantastic enough that we've got a fucking mound of mincemeat inside a calcified skull that's also inside a biological meat fucking suit that is somehow powered by little electrical pulses inside it that also has something called a consciousness that we don't have an answer to. But the idea that this dude picked up a perfectly shaped, pearly white, egg-shaped object that's 20 feet long and 10 feet, wide, the size of a small SUV, but that's too extraordinary for some people.
I don't disagree. Speaking of which, did you listen to the Thomas Campbell episode on Rogan where he talks about?
No, I haven't started that one yet.
It's worth listening to
because it's to do. Is it to do with like consciousness and the potential of?
Yeah, it's to do with all of that.
So the psionic components, like I didn't do too many notes on that because I did watch it. I was more focused
the psionics thing, like for me, that's where. Like I'm mucking about and playing.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. I feel like that for me was when it just went too far. It just went. Hold a minute. It's just like psionics. We've got telepaths calling in airplanes.
Right.
Like it just seemed like that for me was the bullshit bit. It just got too far.
Right. Why is it bullshit then when the CIA have readable documents on their database of Project Stargate, I believe it was, which was
but it never happened. It never worked, did it?
Yes, it did.
No, it never worked. Read it. It never worked.
What do you mean, read it? I've read it. Dude, Uri Geller was successful in I think 3 of them. What are you talking about?
Uri Geller is not successful. I can bend a spoon. Oh, mate, yeah, you're robbing it and pushing it down.
They had an 85 to 95% success rate on Project Stargate.
Thank you.
No,
they did.
That's
when
documented.
I know that you was going to bring this up, and when it presented on the show to just people that have no fucking clue about Project Stargate, that is going to sound fucking stupid. It is. But when you've got readable documents on the CIA's website with what Jay just fucking confirmed with me, that is totally possible. It's totally possible.
I don't believe it.
Well, no, that's your problem though. That's a you problem. But no, it's a you problem because it's been documented.
Yeah.
I mean, I get both sides because obviously Ben is saying that he doesn't believe the document. So because it's a government thing, I suppose it depends where you lie with believing what the government tell you because they could falsify documents. But I'm with you. I want to believe that it was real.
I've so past wanting to believe now that nothing anyone tells me.
And that's it. There you go. You're proving my point. Exactly. It's going to get so fantastic that people are going to start talking about how weird it is.
It's so convenient. Why is it so convenient that like go? We haven't got anyone that can corroborate any of these stories. Insert guy who looks like the rest of us who can corroborate stories.
Who said they haven't got anyone to corroborate the stories? What?
No, they haven't got anyone. Like you said that Grush came forward and all that, and then. Insert like everyone's going on about how there's no one that's ever seen one, no one's been part of it.
No one's.
And then suddenly, you just said at the beginning of the thing, saying, "Oh, we've got no one that's seen anything." Oh, then suddenly someone's come and seen it and like come forward.
No, I don't.
Jacob's come forward.
You must have. No, they said Grush and Lou Elizondo were saying that they. No, they weren't. No. They weren't themselves first-hand witnesses.
Exactly. And now they've got suddenly a first-hand witness come forward.
You've misinterpreted me. Or you've changed what I've said. I said that Grush and Lou Elizondo came forward with claims in saying, we've heard information from first-hand witnesses that this is what's happening. Not that they don't know who these first-hand witnesses is, because Grush interviewed 40 of them. So people were asking, well, we need to hear from a first-hand witness.
Yeah. And then suddenly someone comes forward. Yeah, suddenly all of a sudden one of them just shows up.
Not all of a sudden, it's taken 2 years.
Yeah, it's quite sudden.
So just on the just to get in between you two girls, right? So the only thing I'm familiar with, so obviously while I was away getting my daughter's bottle, I could hear you talking about what you were saying that I haven't seen the video. The video that I have seen that has built up to this was the video of Jeremy Corbell talking about 2027.
Oh, that, yeah.
So this is basically the story in between your two ideas. The government are gonna tell you a lie, and this is the reality. Aliens are here. The lie is the aliens are coming. So then, obviously, you're talking about government stuff, and Ben saying he doesn't believe government stuff, so he now believes that everything is mostly a lie. So the problem is, if anything comes out, unless it's first hand, you're never really going to believe it, are you? You're never going to, unless you physically see it.
Yeah,
and then are you going to believe it? Because
now
AI
I have to see
is
it.
like
So good.
Yeah, but AI is so good. Exactly, like
so good.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So it's going to get so fantastic that even if people do,
I need to see one land now. I need to have one land in front of me, and someone go like get out and go blip 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 blip, and then I'll go, and I'll be like, Dean, sorry mate, you're right, yeah mate, sorry mate, you're all right, they're here, bye.
You'll go, no, it's Project Bluebeam, mate. It's not really there. It's AI.
So the problem
I just tried to put my hand for him. It's hitting him.
I've got with all this.
He's real.
Oh, I'm melting. Sorry, mate. Bye.
My skin's falling off.
You know that scene from Mars Attacks and Jack Black, and then he goes dead.
Yeah.
Sorry, JJ. I cut you off.
The problem I've got is obviously I've got radiation burns all over my cheeks. That's the,
you've seen an alien.
How fitting.
That's why my house is green. It's radiation ridden. It's covered in plasma. But the thing is, like, how many of these people have to come out before we actually see anything? Like, I'm just neutral right now. There's so many people, and the only thing is, like, Ben's argument is he might be mental, and the problem is when mental people get credit, more mental people come out because they're like, oh, actually, I'm mental too. And people will believe me.
In my helicopter, I had an egg.
So I haven't seen the video, and from what I've heard about the video, it's fucking awful.
Right.
But so is the video an actual alien?
No,
or is it a spaceship?
No.
It's an egg. It's an egg in a sack.
A literal.
I'll watch this while you two.
There you go. That's what I said. Yeah, fine. It's in the WhatsApp chat. I sent it in the WhatsApp chat. So
I just put the link to the actual video.
Right,
in there as well.
I'm just being really loud now because my missus and my daughter's come for a walk, so I'll probably have to go really quiet again in a minute.
Right. Can I read something that I posted on X in response to a guy called Ashton Forbes that is desperately trying to prove that Malaysian Airlines was abducted and teleported through a fucking warp hole by a bunch of UAPs. Have you heard of that guy? Have you?
No.
No.
He sounds interesting.
So
he sounds slightly autistic.
So probably. So not that that's an issue.
No, each to their own.
We're all on the spectrum. Let's be real. Anyway, so he made a comment.
Yeah, I'm fucking bright red.
Yeah, he made a comment saying
the rainbow.
He made a comment on this video, the retrieval video, that is a shot from the bottom of a helicopter and the tow rope lifting an egg-shaped object that's in like a sleeve or whatnot. So he wrote, so why is this an alien UFO? It's not floating or anything. This video is 10 seconds long, classic rug pull. He then replied to someone saying, this person, their name's Kyle Miller, says it's compelling because of the story that comes with it, which I have been championing and also I think is the most interesting part of it all. To which this Ashton guy replies with the story of the guy getting psychic messages from an egg. They even went all in on Havana Syndrome connection too. It wasn't credible. So I wrote a massive reply to this guy because he completely muddied the waters immediately, because Jake Barber never even said that he had a psychic message from this object that he was carrying.
He kind of did though, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He
had a psychic feeling.
No, he didn't. That was with the
love.
That was with the
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Right. My message gets to that point.
Different ship.
Thank you.
Just two. Sorry, Dean. Two quick questions. What's the? I've misread this. But was the egg? Did the egg have a name? And was the egg's name Eggatron, or have I just? But I have misread it, just to clarify. But the second question is, where's the video? Because there's loads of gaps where videos would be, but they're not there.
I don't
There's
know.
gaps.
No, let go. If you go to here, let me resend it to you, mate, because it's in. I sent literally just the video file. Let me find it and then reply to it, and then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So you
don't have to go to the website.
Someone's done what I said as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This is what I replied to.
Egg on a rope.
This Ashton Forbes, as he said, the story of the guy getting psychic messages from an egg. They even went all in on Havana syndrome connection too. It wasn't credible. So I replied because I've been in a shitty mood about it. I said, but
really?
that's not. Yeah, funny that. He said, but that's not what he said, was it? He never mentioned receiving anything psychological from the egg thing he picked up. That was mentioned toward a completely different event, and you know it. So, some context for the waters that you're muddying deliberately, because there's going to be I've seen multiple people talk like this about the incident. So it just goes to show that they didn't watch and they haven't taken in all the information. An expert in this field was drafted into a private independent contract within the Department of Defense when he was instructed to retrieve aircraft and weapons from the range, where 99% of his recoveries he took part in were conventional man-made craft from all ranges of classification, from classified to top secret. He witnessed airborne craft that displayed the 5 observables. He then said that there were a few missions that resulted in recovering objects that didn't meet conventional design, and being the expert that he is entrusted in operating within such a program and witnessed and witness to many secret designs, he most certainly has authority in deciding if something is considered man-made or completely alien in design. Brackets, alien meaning different, not absolutely NHI. He was 150 feet away from this object that was previously airborne, explained how it was solid, seamless, pure pearl white, egg-shaped, with no windows, no seams, rivets, or exhaust holes, with no windows or doors. If a person of Jake Barber's credentials cannot stand within or cannot be within 150 feet away from what he described as a solid pearl white egg and mistaken it for an air-filled sack while his team also prepares it for extraction, do you really think they would be entrusted into such a program aside from having the professional capability of flying a helicopter? It's yet to be proven to be non-human intelligent design, regardless of what Jake Barber claimed and was told to him, because it's secondhand information and doesn't count to be conclusive evidence. But instead, it could absolutely be a reconnaissance-like drone of immense classified design. That's why I said I think it's man-made from recovered and reverse-engineered technology. If that is the case, then the question is, when was such technology discovered? When was the physics breakthrough? And more importantly, did Arrow really lose the information? Because there should be a paper trail to prove this. And I added at the end for him, for someone so thorough in research and detail with regard to the Malaysian airline disappearance, you sure are glossing over practically every talking point. Do better. Cunt.
Look how perfectly smooth it is.
Look how it touches the ground gracefully.
Look how gracefully it hits the ground and rolls over.
And does a pirouette. It does a pirouette.
That guy just going, you're reading into that way too much. It's like, look how perfectly round and smooth it is.
JJ, yeah.
Are we doing this podcast based on the video that I've just watched?
Yes. And the rest of everything we're talking about.
There's like a documentary.
It's a 40-minute documentary, and we will also be getting to a second part of the story that coincides with the video that I think is more interesting than the video.
Cool.
Right, I want to hear JJ's.
If I saw the video on its own,
there you go. Yeah, exactly. That proves my point. It proves my point. It needs the story with it.
I've done a drawing of it for anyone out there who. This is what I imagine. This is the helicopter's up here, and this is the egg in its sack.
Right. So Jay,
slowly along.
If you had something that could potentially be from another fucking planet, would you really carry it somewhere on that far away from the fucking helicopter?
Nobody said it was from another planet.
Nobody said it was from another planet. They just said it was perfectly smooth.
That's why I keep saying that it is quite possibly, I think it's man-made. I think it is a man-made design from reverse technology. That's why it was just picked up. They said it hit the ground, as he explains in that documentary, that anything airborne in that area that fails and hits the ground, they deploy his team to go and get it. This thing was doing its thing out in the sky, hit the ground, so they had to go and pick it up. No questions.
It looks like they were fucking dropping it, though.
They were putting it down to then be picked up. They recovered it from way out in the test range. He said they take the helicopter journey back 20 miles. They put it down on the ground, to which it then gets put on the back of a lorry and taken away to wherever it's
okay, that makes sense. I thought you meant they carry it in a helicopter, then get picked up again in another helicopter.
No. They have to go out into the Sierras. They have to go out into the desert where you can't just drive a lorry out there. They don't even communicate. Well, his team does, but they're not even in connection with the lorry that then takes it back to wherever it's.
Yeah, it's all different people, different places.
Compartmentalization.
Plausible deniability.
There you go, plausible deniability. So, Jay, now you've got an understand. We'll get to the other missions that he also did with part of this private firm that he was working for. What is your opinion on that video? Understanding now the history that Jake Barber has been through and what he did for a living with this private company, subcontracted by the government in the middle of the desert.
So I haven't seen the video. I've seen a picture of the guy. First impressions of the guy, he looks quite wide-eyed and a bit like...
I would be if my life was...
You've both seen the video. I'm not going to pass judgment on that, but just based on what I've seen from the video, I'm like... just the clip of him. I'm like... Knowing what he's done for a living is exactly the same as Grush. Because they've tried to just basically say he's got PTSD, he's fucking mental, like...
Yeah. I don't think they said he has PTSD.
Yeah, they have. They've tried...
What,
put out his No, Grush.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Grush I know about. Yeah. Grush I know about. Yeah,
but
they used a thumbnail of him
they didn't
again.
say that. They didn't say any of that prior. They just said all that when he put all the stuff out.
Yeah.
So, I'm starting to think that there will probably just be a smear campaign afterwards,
probably,
to cover this guy up. If you are to believe that he is covering something up.
I'm getting the word nonce.
So far, it's a lot of like, I worked for a military, and that's all completely 100% kosher.
Yes, that's why it took 2 years to and during the documentary there are 3 other special force operatives. I didn't get their names, but one of them was part of the team that he worked with. I can't remember the name of 2 of them that were the special force operators, but one particularly was the former Green Beret, who was Lieutenant Colonel John Blitch, and he had a doctorate in psychology, was a Delta Force sniper, and was one of very few people that actually handled the Doomsday suitcase and led a team.
Can we trust the Green Berets now after Matt Lisbeth? Can we trust the Green Berets anymore?
Right, but the FBI proved that email that he had sent to Sean Ryan, or was read out on the Sean Ryan show, was actually him.
Did they?
They confirmed it over here.
What?
Yes.
But again, one of the problems is, can you trust anybody who is employed by the government?
They're not. They're former. They're all former.
Yeah, so they're all former.
Yeah, you never really leave.
It's not a word against theirs though, but. That also, Ross Coulthard's had to go through the process of vetting them, proving who they are. That's why this has taken 2 years to get to.
Okay. Yeah. So I am probably as believing as the other ones, because I do believe Grush and I do believe Graves and Fravor.
And Fravor,
I do believe they saw what they saw.
Yeah.
But Ben's throwing me off with this telepathic thing, because then I'm like...
Psionics. It's called psionics.
From what I've heard, it's more of an intuition thing, and I think some people do have a higher intuition than a lot of people.
Nods.
So maybe he's just playing it up because it's something that the other ones haven't had.
So
the other people who've seen stuff.
Before we get to that little bit, because that was at the end of the documentary, I want to talk about the video in general, because Ben, well, I was hoping that Ben would debunk it, because he said it wasn't real, like the video clip wasn't real.
What it looks like is someone cradling an egg in a papoose. It looks like an egg in a papoose on a broom handle, and it's just going.
I understand why the American government don't have better cameras for things like that now. I refuse to believe it. I just refuse to be like, yeah, well, it's a night vision camera, so it's only in like 420.
He's not working for the government. He's not working for the government. He was.
But who was filming it? Who was that fucking?
Someone has gone to great danger.
From his
great danger, put themselves in great danger.
But why aren't they using good cameras? It's fucking shit. It's like we're doing podcasts here on like probably thousands of pounds worth of equipment, and they're doing military operations trying to protect a fucking alien egg on a fucking Wacom fucking bamboo camera or the fucking
tablet on a graphics tablet.
Do you remember that fucking thing you used to put in a Game Boy? The eye that was on a Game Boy. The fucking resolution is better on one of them.
That's the thing is, again, someone's gone through great lengths to record this secretly. That was a secret recording by one of his team, but
fucking Charlie Chaplin's movies had a better frame rate.
What you also need to take into consideration is the fact that it was filmed from the helicopter itself. I don't know whether that's the hard copy. How old is that digital piece of footage? What hard drive what was that originally recorded in? In what format? In what resolution? This, that, the other. How many times has that particular video been sent across? It's going to depixelate. It's going to lose quality over the years. We know that. That's what happens.
Sounds like you're a bad footage apologist.
No, I'm just looking at it logically. It's not going to be fucking IMAX, is it? It's on the bottom of a helicopter at night. It's not going to be IMAX, and it's an independent contractor. They're not going to have the most advanced technology on the bottom of their craft. They're just picking up
independent contractor.
Well, there you go. It's their own funding, then, isn't it?
Is it though?
Right. Well, yeah, is it? But you can't. Not everybody can expect Steven Spielberg to be hanging out the fucking bottom or anywhere on a fucking plane to capture. There most likely is crystal clear video out there. There definitely is. There has to be. People have been saying that it's out there, but now we're getting something that is a bit fucking better than Commander Fravor's fucking go fast gimbal tic tac and all of that, and people are still complaining.
Always complain
because no one's ever going to be satisfied, regardless of the amount of information that revolves around the situation. Nobody's going to be satisfied.
Do you not think this is Bluebeam? This is all part of Bluebeam.
Do I not think that fucking object that's the size of an SUV that is pure white, that has nothing or whatever. I'm over here in Yankee Land. I've got to go with the language I keep getting fucking bashed to in my ear.
Sports utility.
Why is no one actually sitting there and listening to the whole fucking story, understanding that this guy is 110% who he is, and not looking at that and being like, that's actually really fucking odd to be. But what is that? That's why I'm saying it's not non-human intelligence. It's a reverse engineered, man-made piece of technology that is probably immensely classified in design. They know what it is. They know how it works. But the people they're dropping it off to, they're not going to know. They don't even know themselves. But the people that are working on it and building it definitely know what it is. So they don't need to worry about them being contaminated about anything. Oh, shit, is it alien? We don't know. Is it radioactive? We don't know. No, they do know because they fucking created it most likely.
Bluebeam aside, right? What if this is real? If this is a real bit of footage of a real bit of tech, surely it should have been embargoed and cease and desist before it even came out, right? Surely they have to tell the... How do you know that it went...
How do you know how they... The thing that I want to know in connection to what you're saying is how did they get the video and how does that work? because there has to be a process if they're working in these special programs that are apparently disconnected from the government. Do you think that they just, oh, dear, John, let me just fucking, that's well weird, that one, isn't it? Let fucking smack that.
You've got to think at the end of, so
it's got to be a process.
And there's got to be someone who's stopping that from happening, right?
Right.
They can't just be under an NDA and just go, boys, don't film any of that crazy egg shit. Don't film the eggs. If I see you film those eggs, you're out.
If I see any googly eyes on any fucking eggs, that's it, you're done. My opinion would be along the lines of why I was saying that they've had to come forward, because he went through the legal avenues of being a protected whistleblower by going to Arrow and being like, I've got this shit. Like, what's going on? And then them saying, sorry, that's lost. Look at it in the same way that maybe the Calvine UFO photo suddenly reappeared. For what we knew, that was the only image that was given to that the military of defence in the UK. And then it was only because someone hunted down the dude that had the actual one that was given to him at the press office of the Ministry of Defence and was like, oh, I've been wondering why no one's asked about this. Maybe him and his team were like, fucking, we're allowed to give it. Look, we've found something that we want answers for. They were allowed to send it to the government body because, the government are now looking at it. They were like, let's fucking get rid of that very quickly, because that's one of our SR-71 things back then, but in today's day and age, this is our supreme reconnaissance fucking drone that is able to harness anti-gravity-based propulsion. Yeah. Maybe they kept a part of it, or they made a copy of it and were like, if this doesn't fucking get answered, I'm going public with it and I don't care. Maybe that's the process of what he's taken. Maybe he did manage to get a copy of that video to himself, and that's why he's gone to News Nation. That's why he's risking what he's doing. It's just just throwing shit at a wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Because why is that not a possibility? Yeah.
The Calvine UFO photo, I've just started watching the program tonight, but I turn it off, come do this. Has that been debunked in any way?
No. People were claiming that they believed it was the reflection of something in the water, and the Harrier jump jet was a person in a boat. But that was only because nobody knew where the ravine was, or the mountain where these kids were that took the photo. But in the program, using what they've been able to recover from the fencing at the bottom, they believe they found the area that the photo was taken from. Looks pretty accurate, but there's absolutely zero chance that those mountain that ravine area would have just filled with rainwater. It's an impossibility.
Yeah.
But the guy who was the press officer at the Military of Defence. Sorry, I know we're getting off topic here, listeners.
No, that's fine. It's all part of the same thing.
The press officer of the Ministry of Defence said that there would have been people looking at this to see if it was orchestrated or anything along those lines. And that's where Nick Pope comes into it, because he was working at the desk and said that they had a photocopy of it on the wall, to which their superior came in 2 days later, tore it off the wall and was like, where are these prints? Took them, and that was it. And Nick Pope was like, we never saw him again in the office. They had him in a drawer. Top brass came along, took it away.
The picture went missing as well, didn't they?
I don't want to spoil the program for you because you haven't got to it. I won't.
No, I know that they went missing though.
Well, not that they just disappeared, like someone took them off the street. I think they voluntarily were like, I'm out of here, sort of thing. But yeah, that's it's a great story.
I'll watch that later.
Yeah.
I'll finish that later.
I'm trying to think how I fucking segued into this. Oh yeah. With the idea of keeping the video. There's that possibility to say that if I was in his position and I happened to have that footage that I know I probably shouldn't fucking have, I would have guarded it with my life. But if it came to a point where there were whistleblower acts that could protect me coming forward, and I just wanted an answer because the government entity that I'm supposed to trust were just like, whoops, sorry about that, gone missing for something so fucking weird that's where I would be like, all right, I'm going to risk this. If they're going to be silly, I'm going to be silly.
So and they don't. I watched the whole documentary and they didn't, but they don't address the. They don't talk to Arrow at all, do they? No,
they do. They I believe it was Arrow right at the end. There's whether or not that video cuts it off. They got a response. I think it was from Arrow. I'm not too sure. It could have been the Department of Defense, but it was just again a copy paste. We've gone looking and we've not found any information or evidence to suggest of any craft of any sort has been recovered or blah 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 been found. Like just a copy and paste nonsense message, because they can't sit there and be like, oh shit, yeah, about that one. Whoops. That's our new drone that we're going to be spying on everybody with. You know those little orbs you've been saying? Way, gravity technology. Whoops. Right.
So the egg video, right? It's a crap video. It doesn't really show much. It just shows it doesn't show anything other than a helicopter carrying an egg.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Right. The next bit though, when he talks about the acorn, which is slightly different to an egg. I know you're thinking an egg and an acorn are very close in the shape. They're very close in shape. But the feeling he got from the acorn,
eight gone. They subtitled it wrong. It's 8 gone.
The 8 gone.
Yeah.
That's what I thought the name of the egg was.
So no, the 8 gone was a different craft that he had all of those weird feelings with.
And 8 gone is an hectagon. You know that.
8 gone has 8, and he said it was called an 8 gone, and he said it had 8 delineated sections when looking down on it. So I put that explanation into Grok, and it developed a disc, because he said it was a disc-shaped craft that when looking down on it had 8 sections, and they called it the 8 gone. And he said that when they went on that operation to recover that craft, there were also others at the same time around it. So for the listener, our AI developed an image when I asked it what an 8 gone was with 8 delineated sections. It looked like a flying disc with 8 like sections just lined above it, if that kind of makes sense. He said there were multiple of those that he recovered, and that he started feeling like, what was it? He was saying that with this particular operation, when
he felt like something was inside him, something feminine.
He said that he started getting overly emotional and felt like he was
on the way there.
Yeah, on the way there, he started getting a sense of like enlightenment, or he was feeling sad or love, and started crying.
And sadness.
And said, I think it was the wrong choice of words, but saying he was possessed by one of the most loving entities he's ever felt, or something, wasn't it?
He said, and I quote, "I felt like something was inside me."
Yeah.
A frequency.
So I really don't know how I feel about all of those things, because I don't consider myself a very spiritual person. But I know JJ's quite sort of within...
spiritual.
Well, you're well spiritual, bruv.
Yeah.
But like, I know that you've taken an interest to that kind of world of things. We've spoken about it in like past episodes and stuff. What, JJ, when you say like people feel those sort of emotions from supernatural experiences, I guess we could say supernatural at this point.
So the first thing that I typed in when you were talking about that was, and everyone always like talks to me about this, but when I was younger, I used to be able to walk through an estate near where I lived, and I'd feel really angry. And for years and years and years, I didn't know what it was. And loads of people have put it down to this. So there's some people who are really sensitive to electromagnetic pulses on telegraph poles and stuff. And it just so happens I've moved to the area now. And when Phoenix, my daughter, was like young, when I used to have to walk her around the estate on a night, the same place where I went to, all of a sudden started getting that feeling again. So the first thing when you were talking about it, I was looking here, emotional experiences elicited by direct electrical stimulation. So frequencies
obviously
in your body that create those kind of looked after feelings.
Yeah.
I'm just reading it now because I don't know too much about it myself, but it's called electrical cortical stimulation. So those crafts could be emitting something. I don't think it would be on purpose. I don't think the thing would be. I think it would be something that just triggers something in your aura.
Yeah.
Yes,
which would probably most likely be a higher frequency, which would affect this area.
Yeah.
Would probably create a feeling of being looked after or wellness.
Or it could go another direction in feeling fear, because you might be that feeling might be so alien to you that your body just goes into a shock.
Well, that feeling tends to affect anything electrical, tends to affect the chest area.
Yeah.
So fear is the area of the body, or what they believe, like the chakras and stuff. Fear is usually like this area in the middle of your chest, and then intuition is like below it. So I mean, he could be having mixed feelings of like that middle into that sort of, because basically when anyone has a godlike experience, it's usually obviously this area. But if he says he feels like a feminine feeling, like a sense, that also tends to be like the lower part of the body. So
like the dick.
Yeah, just a thought, because the thing is, like, there's a frequency range that is not very big that you can change slightly, and it affects your stomach and your throat, or your chakra, your root chakra, and your head and your eyes. You can literally, I'll do a bit of looking into it while you guys are chatting, but
yeah.
Just a thought.
Because he carried something else, didn't he? And it gave them all like radiation poisoning.
So this is where it gets. This is where the story gets the most interesting to me, because it's related to it, but it doesn't physically use like UAPs to almost glamorize, or it doesn't glamorize the story too much. So with it, he was also not just recovering like aircraft and weaponized things and stuff in this place he calls the range, but there were also sealed containers, or they called them mystery boxes. And they weren't told about what the contents were. It was just something that was boxed up. He was sent to a location with his team. They had to attach it to the bottom of the helicopter and then just take it out of there. And he was saying there was one instance or several instances where him and his team ended up hospitalized, and they were physically ill. They believed it was radiation poisoning. His skin would lop off. That's the words he used. But then he also said it was a severe sunburn. And I think we've all had severe sunburn, but it's not to a point where, like, I would say my skin is lopping off. Like, that sounds almost like huge chunks are being removed from you. So I don't know whether that was just a bad choice of words. And also developing a heart murmur. What's interesting is, they were saying that it was either a radioactive container, but if it was, they were told that they would be dealing with something radioactive, and that they would then have operation procedures to deal with it. The intelligence that they would receive before them wouldn't suggest anything was radioactive, so they were curious whether whatever was inside. He also said that he couldn't say whether it was NHI, experimental, or even a downed craft of some degree, but he wasn't informed, and his team weren't informed that through intelligence that this wasn't going to be anything to be of concern of. So he was curious as to whether something switched on inside after it was moving that then made it emit certain radiation and stuff. But what was also said is he's now working with the immunologist and very much ahead in the whole UAP discussion, Gary Nolan. He's going to be
that guy's on the program as well, isn't he?
He's fantastic, man. He found out that a lot to do with this telekinetic thing that's going on. He was saying that what led him down getting involved into the UAP discussion was, can't remember what he was dealing with, but he dealt with a bunch of patients that were showing certain signatures going on after brain scans inside their brains. And there were some people that weren't showing a particular observant, whereas in some scans there were a group of people that were showing something going on in a particular part of the brain. Only these certain people. And he said all of these certain people either had abduction stories or they had been in contact with what they claimed were a UAP. And he was like, to me, that's like, as a scientist and a person in this field, if I'm being shown evidence of an indication of a particular subject, he was like, I'm going to go ahead with it. He's been involved with this because he believes that there is something psychological and telekinetic that is to do with the whole UAP phenomena, or as he calls
psionics.
it, phenomena, psionics, the phenomena in general. So it's good to know that Jake Barber is actually being looked at to find out what is actually wrong with him, because he believes that these potential boxes that they were transporting were either used or they were either ignorantly given them as an operation, or the boxes, which Dustin, a friend of the show, also pointed out. He contacted me and said his mum pointed out that, was there any idea that these people that Jake ended up believing, or Jake and his team ended up believing, were trying to cut them off from the program? Is there any idea or thought that these containers were being used as a weapon to decrease their life, i.e. the radiation poisoning and potential cancers being developed? So getting to that side of things, what's also interesting with those damages or injuries that he and his team members have received from being in this crash retrieval operation, I believe that they're looking at getting some sort of full medical disabilities from the government, because there is another person that's actually been able to get full medical disabilities, and that was John Burroughs from the Rendlesham Forest incident in England.
Yeah.
And that only happened because I think he developed cancers, but he ended up gaining heart murmurs, blood pressure problems. What was the other thing? Something to do with his eyes. He had like burns to his eyes that caused blindness to some degree. The only reason he managed to get full medical disabilities for the rest of his life from the US government was because Senator John McCain championed for it. And what Gary Nolan mentions also in this documentary that's on News Nation about this, obviously this egg-shaped UAP and Jake Barber's claims, is that John Burroughs' medical history from this incident was classified. It was hidden inside a classified fucking vault somewhere within the Department of Defense. If that isn't a bit suspect, kind of...
Yeah, why would you have to hide it? Yeah.
Precisely. So thanks to John McCain, John Burroughs has actually got full medical disabilities. So this leads to what is my favourite part of the story, which it would make an absolutely awesome action movie in my opinion.
Just before we progress, just one point.
Question.
In sacred geometry and stuff, they were using frequencies to try and levitate things. Do you guys know about that? Yeah. So one theory would be is if he felt a severe feeling, an overwhelming feeling of something, is that this thing was maybe emitting some frequency that was allowing it to elevate, or was working of some sort.
Turned on, as he said,
they're called solfeggio frequencies, frequencies, which are like perfectly tuned frequencies that do certain. This is what obviously holistic therapists believe. They do certain things to certain parts.
Singing bowls.
Yes, they are very low frequencies. Though they're not super high. Like some of these frequencies, one's believed would allow you to flow with a single force, and is considered it would connect you to the universe and its perfection.
So there's like, think outside of the box. There's a lot of connections.
Possibly.
It's
okay. Sorry,
glad you fucking brought that up, man, because that shit's fucking interesting. But moving on to the other part of his job, because it wasn't just him recovering aircraft from conventional, classified, top secret, etc. He was deployed to recover what he calls HVTs, which were high value targets, and something particular was something called laptops called Panasonic Toughbooks, and they contained sensor data that he suspected were UAP retrieval data that were apparently worth, as Ross Coulthard puts in the documentary, were apparently
small fortune.
Worth millions to the correct buyer, which that sort of, I'm like, so who's buying them? If he's being employed by a private company that's employed indirectly by a subcontract of the Department of Defense or the Air Force or the US government, wouldn't that be of interest to the government instead of, or if these independent private companies are keeping this shit secret from the government? Or are they like, well, we've done all of this work for you. This is our data. You need to give us a shit ton of money if you want that data or you want these aircraft. That's kind of what I think, why he said that they're worth millions of dollars. So, yeah, they're Panasonic Tough Books and they collect sensory data. I think they're used in the military anyway.
Yeah, the laptops connected to sensors and they collect the data.
So there were two high-value targets that they had to recover, and they were in the high Sierras of the desert. We're like in the middle of nowhere on the top of fucking like mountain tops, basically. They went to a particular location to recover a Panasonic Tough Book, and when they went back to their base location to produce, I guess, like, I don't know, all the like the
hand them over.
Yeah, hand them over and all the fallout that comes with it, documenting stuff. They were taking photographs of the laptops. They said that the hard drives were missing, which they were like, well, that's a bit fucking weird. Like, this is designed to have, like,
hard drives.
Hard drives, yeah. So through their intelligence, they managed to locate where one was, and it was the hard drives were found in a sealed steel container
25 feet
underwater but not just on a base like lake, like on the bottom of the river, the desert or whatever. It was in a higher altitude lake, 25 meters underwater. Fucking why? To me, I'm like, that's when it comes to like believable stories, that's such a weird kind of non-sensational story that it has to be real. Like, it's like, yeah, they put the hard drives in a fucking steel thing and just dropped it at the middle of a fucking lake, but we knew how to locate it. Why is someone trying to fucking sabotage these fucking pieces of data?
Well, they said, didn't they, that they thought they were going to get killed. They said, at that point, we've realised that we were being
cut off,
set up.
Yeah. So it then moved. Yeah, they had thoughts that there were. They believed that there was another group involved in what they were doing, or like a shadow group was what they called them. So they had another mission, which this was the interesting part, where the intel kept changing day by day. Intel kept changing, like the contact changed, the rhythm and the style of the approach of the mission changed, which he was saying were all red flags leading up to the day of like their deployment. He said that they went anyway, and that where was it? He said that these particular ones were. He said that I think it was again like a high point, like a high Sierra or whatever. And when they approached the laptops, they had seen that there had been a firefight had gone on, but also they had been fired at. And it was at that point, as Ben said, that they had believed that his team were either in a crossfire in the middle of other operation going on that they were completely unaware of, or they were just being cut off from the program because plausible deniability, and also the fact that we know that people have been murdered in like this program for stepping out of line or not doing as they're told.
He should have known then. Then he goes and releases it and he goes to the press. He's an idiot.
As we don't particularly know whether anyone has just been, we'll hire these people out to do these particular objects. And when it gets to a point where they're like, at some point they're going to have to pick up one of our lists, like the 8-gon or the several of the 8-gon that they've had to. We'll get to that point, and as I mentioned earlier, our listener Dustin mentioned, maybe we'll get them to pick up these mystery boxes, but we'll just throw a load of fucking radiation in there. That'll give them cancer in about 10 years. But what if it gets a little bit further? All right, let's go and throw a few fucking laptops on the top of a pissing ravine somewhere or a Sierra and let's try and take them out in that fashion. Maybe these people were a little bit unsuccessful in doing so. Maybe their team were just a bit too good at realizing that the intelligence was a little bit wonky, and they went about the approach in a more secretive manner. What's interesting, though, is it then got so bad that they had obviously prepared for like plausible deniability, but he believed it was either his former employer or someone that was posing as the former employer determined to kill them. But him and his team had ended up using their own intelligence expertise and had figured out potentially who their main suspect was. And because it was someone what was his position? He was the director of security of the private company that they were working for. So they set up a random meeting, and they had confronted him and showed him evidence of being like, you're up to something. What's going on? We think we're either in the crossfire or we've been compromised. To which this person, that also Jake says in the documentary, Ross asks, was the guy nervous? To which you can tell with the smile that he gives that it's definitely true in what he was saying. He was like, yeah, that guy was fucking nervous. Like, we had found who we had suspected was behind the fucked up shit and the red flags that we discovered, and the potential of our lives being cut short. And that they were simply told, we think we need to move on with our employment here or our relationship in this contract. And that's when he was then cut off and completely removed from the program. Therefore, obviously, no more connection with the Air Force. And that's where he finds his story now. The idea of them being sent to just pick up random fucking sensor laptops in the middle of the desert, having them fucking tampered with, someone else got to the location independently in the middle of fucking nowhere, and also having shots fired at them. Yeah. That's terrifying.
I feel like he lost his job and he needed a bit of cash. He's gone to the Australians going, I've got some UAP shit. And they go, he's got some UAP shit. Let's get him on the show. It's all lies. It's all lies.
So you're saying he's doing it?
He's doing it for the cash.
But there is no cash that he's getting, because also his company that he's set up, or the foundation that they've set up to, I can't remember what it was called. I'd have to find his name. But he's also sat there and said, it was like, we don't need donations. Like, stop giving us, like, we're not interested in donations. So that puts that to bed. So he's not a grifter. If he wanted to be a grifter,
I genuinely, I think if they'd led with that, I know they had to leave with the sensational stuff.
Sure.
First. But if they'd led with the, like this is a guy who, like, built up trust with, like, these are the things he used to do. And by the way, one time we had to do this, and then we got this, and then we got this. I think it would have been way more compelling if they got, like, if it had been like was it James Fox kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like it, and being honest now, because I've watched the thing and I was just, I like playing and thing, but
you like pushing my buttons, you bastard. That's what you like.
That whole show, it's just so poorly put together. It just feels like I don't believe any of it, because it's like the mind is a part of your brain, and it's like,
so that's why I usually tell people to go, like, I was like, don't pay attention to Corbell, don't pay attention to Jordan Knapp's documentaries. I say watch the News Nation ones because they're the ones that these whistleblowers are trusting. Yeah. That's our avenue for this information.
Because they can pay them the money to get them out. That's why.
Right. If they are being paid money to go on the show.
They should be paid. Should be paid.
Expense in some degree. What, you want me to come out there? Yeah, pay for my plane ticket. Not that I'm going to sit there and be like, I want 50 grand for my story. Like, I do not believe it's that in any way.
I think that, it's just watching it in that format just makes me think like brass eye. It just feels so brass eye.
Yeah, I fucking hate. Has anybody
Australians,
watched,
you're right, yeah. I love them. I love Australians.
Has anybody watched George Knapp's one on Netflix.
No.
Anyone tried watching that? I got to about the second, third episode because it then started getting to the bass booms that would then zoom in on the face, and it would show George Knapp sitting on the front of his car waiting for someone in the middle of the desert. Like you've got no better place of meet. Yeah, you've got no better place of meeting and conducting. That's why. And Jeremy Corbell's one, I ain't even going to fucking bother with. One, because it's on Tubi, and two, I have compilations of these dramatic shots of him walking like out of Congress and stuff like that, and then like riling through papers outside of a fucking office. It looks like you said, something out of Brass Eye, and something like Garth Marenghi would fucking produce in Dark.
That's the problem.
It's so bad
with all of it is that. All of this UFO stuff, UAP stuff, is that the people reporting it are fucking nerds.
Yeah.
And they're fucking clueless nerds that are like going, wow, people are paying attention. And I'm going to have a mohawk and a beard. And then I'm going to walk.
The only person that I can take seriously with these documentaries is James Fox. Because
he's so himself. He's so unapologetically himself. And it's I'm really enthusiastic about this alien thing, but I'm going to try and give you all the information. And his editing is so boring. The program is so boring, but the information is good. But it's like so bad.
But it's good because it's not like the fucking, what was it?
Not dramatized in any way.
The Skinwalker Ranch fucking documentary. I lasted 3 minutes with that heap of shit because it's all this and all these like someone will sit there and say like, so what you're trying to say is you've got no explanation for what that light was on the ridge, and it will be like, no.
I think it was God.
As if
it was God.
Audiences are going to sit there and be like, oh my fucking God, he doesn't know what the light is. What the fuck? Like, as if people are going to act like that. Stop it. It's like watching Love Island.
A little bit too critical, because those documentaries that are on those platforms are definitely aimed at a demographic of people that have no fucking idea about any of that stuff.
Right.
But they want to see drama. If you were just if you showed that egg video to the majority of people who are watching those Netflix fucking things, they'd just be like, it's a balloon on a stick.
Yeah, I know.
It is a balloon on a stick.
Yeah. But they've got to create some sort of drama to get people
interested. I agree. I agree with you.
We've seen the prelude. We know what we want to see, and all we want to fucking see is a real UFO. I don't want to see it in night vision. I don't want to see it in fucking flare vision.
I only want to see it in my living room.
AI. I'd be happy with 3 people correlating a video that is real. That's all I'd be happy with. Obviously I want to see one in real life, but I'd be happy with 3 people, all high ranking, maybe not even high ranking, just people who you fucking know. Like,
I was there, I saw it, it did this.
Yeah. And 3 other people go, that's exactly what happened. Here's three bits of footage that can all be cross-referenced. They can get put through all filters.
Yeah, that's it. That you want 3 angles of an alien.
Yeah, because
of the same alien.
Some nerd
or UFO.
Will be able to take the information that's embedded in either of them, all of them videos, correlate them together, and say they were stood fucking 10 meters apart. This is the angle that they're looking at it on. This is the fucking lens that we're using. Because all anyone ever does now is they just put a video on the internet and they put it in Photoshop and just super saturate everything and just be like, I can see some pixels around it.
Yeah,
there you go. Debunked. Yeah. It's not. This is the problem with if that guy, we should get in contact with that guy, that Phenom guy, because his app is the shittest thing I've ever used in my life.
Yeah.
The videos do not load. You press load on them. It says there is a new sighting in your area. You press load. Doesn't load for a week.
No,
like
I'm still.
I think it's a data gathering app. That's why I didn't download it. I think it might be like. I thought
it was NatWest trying to get back into my bank account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have unpaid loans. Oh no! I moved to America for this.
So he dives a little bit further into they show like a field test of this psychokinetic or I can't remember what
psionics.
Psionic, thank you. They developed like they show like a field test of these psionics, and granted, they do get an image of what looks like an egg or a orb, but again, it's just a blurry image. It's nothing good. It's as identifiable as the FLIR image. It's like what was the what was the other one I was thinking of? There was another one that came out not too long ago, and it's just like, oh look, another FLIR based or like heat thermal based image. Like, I agree. We're getting close. We are. I believe we are. I think this video, as Jay has mentioned and Ben has mentioned, without the context of everything else around it, it's just an
egg on a stick.
It's just an egg on a wobbly stick.
It's an egg on a stick. But I said when I watched it, because I watched it without context, obviously first.
Yeah.
And it literally looked like someone just like had a balloon with a bit of cardboard on it, and they were just knocking it over. When it rolled over like that, it looked like they just knocked a balloon over with a stick, and it just rolled like that.
There are some people that are trying to say that they believed it was a balloon, which
I believed it was a balloon.
It's not a balloon though. Like,
yeah, but if you watch it out of context, you just go, "That's a balloon on a stick," or a balloon being knocked over on a stick. It's not a compelling video. It's you go, "This is a video of an egg on a stick,"
What's going to be really interesting now, though, is this is going to end up making it to Congress, because we know there's going to be another UAP hearing at some point, and that video will end up there. And Jake, hopefully, along with a couple of his team, because I can't remember the other guy that was on his team, because I would imagine that he would end up becoming a whistleblower as well. But I feel like the next step is to get Jake and his team in front of Congress, because they're first-hand witnesses. But what's interesting as well is Greer has said that he is part of the circle of these witnesses that are all going to be coming forward to make disclosure happen. But
Greer for me, if he's involved, it just makes it even more untrustworthy, because he's just for me, he's like, he's such a crook. Like he just feels like he's just trying to cash in, like. And when he did that disclosure thing like 10 years ago, and nothing happened. I've got all these people up here, and they've all seen aliens.
And then the congressional hearing happened, like with Grush and that, and then he really went out public. He was just like, I said this 10 years ago. Why the fuck am I not there? Why am I not getting the fucking awards for this? Where's my traffic, bitch? Like, he got really upset about that.
Because no one trusted him. Everyone thought he was a lunatic.
Well, exactly.
He just went straight into...
Because he goes and buys fucking flares and sets them off over his fucking $5,000 retreats that he charges for or whatever.
There's an alien! No, we just see you fire a flare, you knobhead.
It's just a flare knob.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see what Tom DeLonge says about it. I know he posted a thing.
Yeah.
But then again, Tom DeLonge's the same. Do you not think To the Stars is all that they've not ever put anything out? No, they've said they've seen it and they've never put anything out. They took everyone's money.
They put the first three, the gimbal, Tic Tac and the Go Fast video out. They did that. That's what they did. But what more is happening?
Yeah, but again, they took everyone's money first. You know,
you want to be careful about what he's saying, because he could end up on a guest on here, couldn't he?
He won't be a guest on here.
I know, but you can always shoot your shot and reach out to the fucking agent, can't you?
Who, Tom DeLonge?
Yeah, I reached out to the agent.
Dean's reached out to the publicist today of Tom DeLonge to see if he wants to talk about aliens
on this fucking platform, man.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Well, we'll give him more of a chance than Rogan did. We should send him the flat Earth episode where we all believed in flat Earth for like an hour for it.
I remember that. We were all sat there again. Nah, not having it, boys. No, I ain't folding. Are you folding? I ain't folding. No, I'm not folding if you don't fold.
We're going to ask him the tough questions 20 minutes in. So you're right, the Earth is flat and the sun isn't real.
We're sitting there texting each other like, I think I'm a flat earther. No, wait. I fucking put in the public chat, didn't I? I was like, what the fuck is this guy on? And then your eyes were just like, Dean.
This guy's a real guy.
Whoops. He can see that.
David, that is Flat Earth David, who, for some reason, I still follow on Twitter. He's lost a lot of traction lost a lot of traction.
Of course he has.
We still get hate. We still get hate on.
Oh, we do?
Flat Earth. Yeah.
No.
Every now and again, someone will go,
Let me
"You guys
read a
fucking
comment
idiots,
out.
fucking idiots."
Let me read a
Then
comment out. Hold on.
Same with Hellier, on the Hellier one. Whereas, like, I still reference Hellier.
Hold on.
I still reference Hellier to this day. I think it's a great documentary series. Me and JJ believed it.
You guys were fucking.
I still see balloons and tins everywhere.
Every time I see a balloon, I'm like, I'm going the right way. This is a message.
Can I just say as well?
We've got hate from that Hellier one as well.
We need to get Hux back on the podcast. Can I just say as well, the thumbnail of his rebuttal episode on the flat. Like, I fucking love that. I fucking love that episode.
Yeah, I used to put a lot of effort into those thumbnails.
That is one of my favourite episodes, without a doubt. Right,
just get AI to do it now.
I don't even do that. No, I just Google like the name of the title, just take the image.
Nadraxter says, loud and proud flat earther. David is an awesome guest, well researched, knowledgeable, and an absolute gentleman. Hold on, I sub to you guys being woke enough to have David on. All evidence points to Earth being flat. I hope you guys seriously look into it. Ugh. Bog, I apologise, man. I appreciate you being subbed, but woof, can't. But we got one here. Appreciate you guys for treating David with respect, but with a healthy dose of skepticism that any new entrance into flat Earth reality would have. Enjoyed it very much. Sub. So at least we were okay about it.
I think we treated him with a lot of respect, and then Huxley treated him with no respect and dragged his name through the mud on the follow-up.
Just so you know, go on.
Go for it.
Just so you know, we're only here because of David Wise. Level and stationary gentleman. Stationary.
It takes Dave less than an hour, and you're all flat earthers. Brilliant chat, lads. Your family are going to think you're crazy.
I'm not.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. But hopefully Tom will see that and go, look how well they treated David. And Tom's not a flat earther, or is
Getting Tom DeLong on would be so good. It would be so good.
I think it would be.
I'd just be like, go on, tell me, Tom.
Tell me about the alien stuff. I'd have to, but then I'm going to have to.
And I'd be like. Sorry, Tom.
I would cover that. I'd probably cover that up.
Oh no, of course. I wouldn't fucking be like that, am I?
I would say that.
Sit again like that.
Why? He's just a person who believes in aliens.
Man. Tom. Big oily win,
He also broke Blink 182 up.
Twice. He repaired my heart.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. I shot my shot.
You never know. I will fight him with my views on aliens.
I'm going to send an email to the agent as well.
Yeah, send an email and say, look how well we treated David. He's a flat earther. We actually believe what Tom says.
Yeah. We're sucking dick, man.
I'm not sucking anyone's dick.
So
okay, I think that's the end of the episode anyway.
Yeah.
So
JJ?
What do you think, JJ? Come on, give us your thoughts, because everyone knows what I think.
I feel like I'm no further forward. It's just someone else
who've even been here. Why did I turn up?
Why? I think the guy's got some credibility, but at the end of the day, he's just another guy going like.
And I've got credibility until they haven't. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be the manager at Asda, but now I'm homeless. Like,
yeah, it's true.
What a fucking analogy! What a great analogy.
And for any American listeners, that's Walmart.
Yeah. What makes you being the manager of Asda credible? And then
I wasn't.
Oh, okay. When were you the manager of Asda?
It's just, just all I can think of. Must be the colour.
I think it's another fun episode chatting about aliens. We are going to get onto Nang Lee.
Yeah, that's the next
I've started my research.
I need to watch the documentary that you sent in the chat, and I think I'll do that tonight.
She's an interesting character. But yeah.
And it's interesting because it's gravitic, which is a fucking weird
propulsion.
way to say it. Propulsion.
Propulsion.
I'm just going to say gravity. propulsion. Gravitic, yes.
And that will be part 3 in the Not Another Conspiracy podcast gravitational propulsion episode series.
Disclosure's happening. This is the beginning. Don't believe anyone else.
Blue beam. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself either, so.
No, he didn't. I've still got that sticker over there. Love it.
I've lost mine.
My car. I've got mine. Loud and proud. Flat Earth. Loud and proud.
Hashtag research flat Earth.
Thanks, though, guys, for listening to me bleat on. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It's been fun.
I'm sorry I was so aggressive against Jacob.
I just know you.
I should probably go look after my baby.
That's it.
Go and look after your baby.
Well. Right.
He's got to feed his dog, which is the same thing.
Got to feed my dog. It's the same thing. He hasn't eaten for a few hours.
What happens? When it comes to it, in the thing. Oh, maybe they did. So in the back there isn't a light brown jacket. Cool story.
Without the first, we definitely won't be the last. We'd like to welcome you.